Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een. Amma ba'd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to this episode of Classical Readings. We're continuing with the book of Ibn Taymiyyah entitled As-Siyasatu Shariah fi Islah al-Ra'i wa Ra'iyah, the politics of the Sharia for the reform of the ruler and the ruled. He's dealing extensively in this section with al-ghanima, the spoils of war, one of the three types of public property in Islam according to the Quran, which are al-ghanima, as-sadaqah, which is the properties of zakah, wa al-fay, which is various other categories of public properties. He's doing this not to go into all the details of the ghanima and its rulings, but rather he's dealing with the issue of preference and favoring some over others, and how this is not generally allowed in Islam, including in the ghanima as well as other issues, and what are the exceptions to that. So continuing where we left off. In the case where the Imam is collecting the spoils and dividing them, this is the default case. We just saw that there was an exception, such as in the Battle of Badr, when the Prophet ﷺ told the fighters, you keep whatever you get. And in that case, most cases like that, Allahu Alam, they are also required to take out the fifth for Bayt al-Mal, for the general treasury. But the default case is they are collected all together and then distributed. So in this case, it is not lawful for anyone to unilaterally take anything during such a battle, and this is a very big sin in Islam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَمَا كَانَ لِنَبِيٍّ أَنْ يَغُلْ. It's called ghulul, by the way, to take something from the spoils before it has been collected and distributed. وَمَنْ يَغْلُلْ يَأْتِ بِمَا غَلَّ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ ثُمَّ تُوَفَّى كُلُّ نَفْسٍ مَا كَسَبَتْ وَهُمْ لَا يُظْلَمُونَ. It is not allowed or appropriate for any messenger to commit ghulul, to take something from the spoils of war before its collection and distribution. And anyone who does that will come on the day of Qiyamah with that sin, and every soul will be recompensed fully for whatever it earned, and no one will be oppressed. Al-ghulul, taking from the spoils secretly before the division, is treachery. It's a form of treason, and it's not allowed to steal it openly, as the Prophet ﷺ forbid that, and nahba. If, on the other hand, the Imam does not collect and divide, but permits individuals keeping what they take, this is a lawful permission. In that case, everyone can take anything without transgression and keep it after taking out 1/5 for the general treasury, which is the khums. Anything which indicates a permission is a permission. If no such permission is given, or the permission is not legally valid, the individual is allowed to keep what he would have gotten in a fair distribution, and to be mindful of justice therein. Whoever forbid the Muslims from collecting the spoils, but allows the Imam to do with it whatever he wishes, these two statements are like the two extremes, and Allah's deen is the middle way. Equity is in the division. A foot soldier gets 1 portion, while one mounted on an Arabian horse gets 3 portions, according to the hadith. 1 for him, and 2 for the horse. This is how the Prophet ﷺ did the division the year of Khaybar. Some of the scholars said that a mounted soldier gets 2 shares, but the prior is what the authentic sunnah indicates, 3 shares for one mounted on a horse. Also, because the horse needs supplies for itself and for its rider, and the effectiveness of a mounted soldier is greater than 2 foot soldiers. Among the scholars are some who say that an Arabian horse is the same as a non-Arabian horse in this. Others say that a non-Arabian is allotted a single share, as was narrated from the Prophet ﷺ and his companions. And that would explain the 2 opinions in the previous paragraph, whether this horse is a true Arabian horse or not. The non-Arabian horse, or hijin, is the one whose mother is non-Arabian, whether a stallion or a female. The early generations used to prepare stallions for war because of its strength for attacking, and geldings for ambush because they are less noisy, and also for long marches because they have better endurance. If what is taken is property which belonged to the Muslims before that, whether real estate or other property, and its former owner is identified before the division of the spoils, it is returned to its original owner according to the consensus of the Muslims. The details of spoils of war and its rulings involves traditions and opinions, some of which the Muslims agreed upon and others over which there are differences. This is not the place to go into details, although he just went into quite a few, but rather just to present the generalities. The second category of public property is the wealth of zakah. As for the sadaqat, meaning zakah, they are for those whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has enumerated in His book. It has been narrated from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that he said, "Inna Allah lam yarda fi sadaqa biqasam nabiyyin wala ghayrihi." Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not accept with regard to the sadaqah that the division be handled by the Prophet or by anyone else. وَلَكِنْ جَزَّأَهَا ثَمَانِيَةَ أَجْزَاء. Rather, He Himself, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, divided the sadaqah into 8 categories. فَإِن كُنْتَ مِن تِلْكَ الْأَجْزَاءِ أَعْطَيْتُكَ. If you are among one of those 8 categories, then you can be given. So the categories begin the destitute and the impoverished. Those who have nothing and those who have insufficient for their needs share the characteristic of needing help to meet their basic needs. So here zakah is not for the well-off or for the strong and capable of earning a living. Number 3, those who work with it, الْعَامِلِينَ عَلَيْهَا, are the ones who collect it, store it, keep records of it, etc. Number 4, those whose hearts are to be brought near, الْمُؤَلَّفَةُ قُلُوبُهُمْ. These will be mentioned in the next chapter when we speak about al-fay. Number 5, the captives, includes assisting slaves who are working under agreement for their freedom, ransoming prisoners of war, and the outright freeing of slaves by purchase. These are the strongest statements regarding this category. 6, al-gharimina, those in debt, means those who have a lot of debt and no means to pay them. They can be given that which covers their debts, even if it is a large amount, unless that debt was incurred during anything involving disobedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Such cannot be given anything unless they repent. 7, fi sabilillah, in the path of Allah, means the soldiers going to battle who have not already been given from Allah's wealth that which suffices them for their expedition. They are given that which enables them to fight, or the rest of what they need, whether that be horses, weapons, expenses, or wages. Hajj to Mecca is also part of fi sabilillah, as the Prophet ﷺ said in a hadith. However, he didn't really say that about the zakat itself. And in our time, we have to be careful about this category, fi sabilillah. It is frequently misused, in my humble opinion, by many people who put any kind of thing under fi sabilillah. It would not be correct, for example, for Muslims living in Beverly Hills or Los Angeles or New York to buy an expensive piece of real estate and put up a masjid and say, well, this is fi sabilillah, so we're taking from the zakah, while there are still Muslims, many places in this ummah, in a state of serious faqr, maybe even hunger. This is clearly inappropriate. So it's important to understand that the meaning of fi sabilillah in its origin is the military, the Defense Department, and nothing but that, and everything else is allegorical. There are some hadith that apply fi sabilillah to other things, but not in the context of zakah itself, so we should be very conservative in stretching the meaning from its original intent. Ibn as-Sabil, number 8, literally the son of the road, is the one stranded while traveling from one place to another. The third type of public property is called al-fay. Its origin is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Most High mentioned in Surah Al-Hashr, which Allah communicated to His Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam during the battle of Bani Nadir, which was after Badr. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, مَا أَفَاءَ اللَّهُ عَلَى رَسُولِهِ مِنْهُمْ فَمَا أَوْجَفْتُمْ عَلَيْهِ مِنْ خَيْلٍ وَلَا رِكَابٍ وَلَكِنَّ اللَّهَ يُسَلِّطُ رُسُلَهُ عَلَى مَنْ يَشَاءُ وَاللَّهُ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ. That which came into your possession, and you neither sent upon it horses, nor troops, nor mounted on camels, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala empowers His messengers over whomever He wishes. This is the verse describing the fay. Allah mentioned the muhajirin, those who migrated from Mecca to Al-Madinah, the Ansar, the Muslims of Al-Madinah who received them, and those who came after them in this verse, with the attributes as described. So the third category includes everyone who came or will come along fitting this description until the day of Qiyamah. This is just as they had been mentioned elsewhere in the Quran. وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا مِن بَعْدِ وَهَاجَرُوا وَجَاهَدُوا مَعَكُمْ فَأُولَٰئِكَ مِنْكُمْ وَأُولُو الْأَرْحَامِ بَعْضُهُمْ أَوْلَى بِبَعْضٍ فِي كِتَابِ اللَّهِ إِنَّ اللَّهَ بِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ عَلِيمٌ. And those who believed afterward and made hijrah and made jihad with you, these then are amongst you, and blood relations are closer to one another according to the book of Allah, and that's another discussion, not for this time. Verily Allah is all-knowing of all things. So these verses make clear that the fate belongs to all of the Muslims, not just at the moment, but for all times to come into the future. The meaning of Allah's statement, فَمَا أَوْجَفْتُمْ عَلَيْهِ مِنْ خَيْلٍ وَلَا رِكَابٍ, i.e., you neither mobilized nor drove horses or camels. This is why the scholars of fiqh said, Fay is that which was taken from the non-Muslims without fighting, because mobilizing and driving horses and camels here means fighting. It was called Fay, literally means returns, because Allah brought it back to the Muslims, i.e. returned it to them from the disbelievers. The meaning here is that the original state of things is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created all wealth to aid people in their fundamental purpose of worshipping Him. Since the creation was only created for this purpose, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. So the rejectors have lost the complete right to their souls, with which they did not worship Allah, and their wealth, which they did not utilize to aid them in worshipping Him. And because of the worship of Allah by the believers who worship Him, Allah returned to them that which they deserve. This is similar to the way if something was absconded with from the inheritance of someone, it would be returned to him, even though he had never laid hand or eyes on it before that. And is similar to the jizya, which is taken from Christians and Jews living under the Muslims, or money paid as part of a treaty of peace, or given as a gift to the ruler of the Muslims. Also like the hamul, which is brought from the lands of the Christians, and the like, or taxes taken from businesses of the people at war with the Muslims, which is 1/10, or from the protected minorities, Ahl Dhimma, if they do business in other than their own countries, which is 1/20. This is what Umar ibn Khattab used to take, and like that which is taken from the property of those whose covenant has expired, and the kharaj, which was originally imposed upon such defeated non-Muslims, even if some of those properties have come under Muslim ownership. We're getting deep into the details of the faith, but we'll pick this up next time, insha'Allah, in the next episode of Classical Readings. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.